So this first one was posted by, it was just posted just now by my friend Scar Citizen, and it's by whatever this name is, Charlarana Halazard. I don't know. And the video is called They're Trying to Get Me Fired Over Starfield. Okay. Let's start with some drama.
Something like this pops up every few months, and before we get into today's video, I would like to state that usually I don't even see it. I will have no idea if there's some Twitter thread about me or Reddit or 4chan or whatever else unless I am told. My mentions are so filtered that I won't see you tag me. Like, I literally just have no idea this is even happening. And if people do tell me enough that it's happening,
So, I'm guessing that this girl is a streamer. Yeah, and a YouTuber. All right.
generally don't care. And the reason for that is because I frankly feel like I am too old, and I've felt that way for a long time. Like, I'm not worried about what someone's saying about me on YouTube or on Twitter. I am a grown woman with bills to pay. I'm worried about taxes. My sister had a baby yesterday. Like, I couldn't be less concerned about, like, what some dudes are tweeting, you know? So I don't ever read any content about myself at all. But this one time I wanted to...
Dude, like, reading about yourself as a content creator is like a rabbit hole that you do not want to go down. So if you watch my video, my last video on Star Citizen, or my final video on Star Citizen, at the start of the video, I say like all the things that people have said in the past like 2 years about me, and one of which was like that I'm the Andrew Tate of Star Citizen. And I actually like responded to that guy, and I asked him like, "Why are you?" It was like during the time when he was in jail, and I don't really know that much about that guy. I don't fucking care about him. Like, he looks like a piece of shit. He speaks like a piece of shit. I don't care. But I know that he was in prison because of what, trafficking, like human trafficking or whatever. And I was like, "Are you seriously comparing me because of my thoughts on the game that you like? You're comparing me to a human fucking trafficker, right?" And then he responded with allegedly. So I was like, was that like, if you're defending him, was that like a compliment, or like, what was it? It's just fucking weird. But yeah, like, Googling yourself, and I had my fair share of it. Not during content creation, but because, like, if you guys know, I'm a musician. I was semi-popular back in the day, and then like the government and all of that. I'm not gonna tell the whole story again, but I'm not releasing any music, at least not for my in Serbia anymore. And yeah, like, Googling myself was always a fun experience. So yeah,
to make a video about it, just to like say my piece, because this is starting to happen so frequently. Then I'm like, let me just say the thing and then get back out and like go back to minding my own business. There was another guy who was like, "I'm so sorry about what all the PlayStation Brazilian fans have been saying to you. I don't speak Portuguese. A, wouldn't have known it was a thing if you haven't told me. B, wouldn't have understood it. Thank you."
I personally feel like you still have mad love for Star Citizen and addiction, but you probably don't want to confess. No, look, I wanted that game to succeed, but not in the way that they're doing it. And that's just the way it is. Like, they have become too fucking greedy for me to promote them, to have my referral code. Like, fucking, I have made them $60,000 just from people using my referral code. Those people probably bought more ships, it's a huge possibility that more people bought the game through my reviews and through my videos than the ones that used my referral code. So I made them a lot of money. And I don't want to do that anymore. I am like a small channel on YouTube. Like, I do only have like 9,000 subscribers. And thank you for that. I just hit like 9,000 subscribers. It's fucking awesome. But like, I don't want to promote them anymore. Because like, that kind of behavior, like, they just released a video on like whatever, racing, but no, it was actually a video on like a ship sale, right? Like, it's always gonna be, oh, you can invest more money into our shit. You can buy stuff that you don't need, that not doesn't work, that you're gonna lose, or that is never gonna be a thing, like modding and all that shit.
That is a nice thing to say, but literally will
What
not
the
know it
fuck is
exists unless
happening?
you tell me. I
clicked on
prefer you just
something.
don't tell me. I'm good. That is the most important thesis of this video, but there's another thing that I want to say as well. So, a particularly upstanding citizen of the internet here tweeted this in response to me playing Starfield. They said, Alana Pierce should be fired for promoting Xbox games on a public platform like this. Extremely unprofessional and demonstrates a lack of loyalty and seriousness to PlayStation, her employer, at Herman Holst, at Corey Pollock. Which, as an aside, Corey and I spent about 10 minutes before a meeting today talking about the stuff we were doing in Starfield and how much we were enjoying it, so good luck with that one. I'm also quite confident that if I DM'd Herman and were like, hey, how are you liking Starfield? He'd be like, it's great! But yes, BethesdaNet shared this with me and my reply was, you don't need to share it with me. Like, never feel like you need to share this with me. I don't care. And it happens all the time. Actually, there was one time that it happened where I didn't even know it was happening, that a bunch of people were very mad at me because I love Tunic, until Phil Spencer DM'd me and was like, I'm sorry, this is happening. It's like, I didn't even.
So this is the girl that went from a planet to a planet, right?
No, I would never know unless you told me. But
so, isn't she... I've heard that she actually like works for Microsoft.
yes, we're going to talk about it very quickly today just to like get it out there about like how absurd this misconception is. And then I'll just get back to playing video games because that's what I do. So for reference, I do have this person blocked, which is very uncommon. I only have 700 people blocked on Twitter and, you know, I have 500,000 followers. Like, I do not block many people at all. I would say 50% of those blocks are because somebody did something and I found it funny to block them. Sometimes there are people who I suspect, like this one, I'm not actually sure, I don't know who this is, people will warn me about. Like, I'll have enough people be like, hey, this person is doing this or like harassing you or whatever. And they've done it frequently enough that I will just go and block them based on someone telling me to. Like, I haven't even seen the stuff myself. I'm like, okay, I've registered that enough people are mentioning this that I should probably block this person. In any case, the replies to the tweet are quite funny. You're just like, they had to turn their replies off because people were dunking on them so hard for this absurd take. And it is absurd. This is like just ridiculous. And I'm sure most of you know that. But there have been some sane people who've asked me questions about how this works as well. And I'm like, let me just address it. I work at Santa Monica Studio and I love working there. It's the best job I've ever had. I'm so happy there. I love my job. I love the people I work with.
Santa Monica Studio aware of like what? Fucking Microsoft or Bethesda?
With like, I think I work.
What am I watching? This is a girl that like they're trying to cancel her because she was playing Starfield on Twitch apparently. And since she probably, as far as I know, she works for Xbox or Microsoft, I'm not sure, they wanted to like cancel her.
Work at one of the best game studios in the entire world. That is my honest opinion of working in SMS. I think the studio is incredible, and I work with so many people who have so much talent and experience, and like I said, I think some of the best in the entire industry. That is my stance.
Oh, she works for PlayStation. Wait, what? It's owned by Sony. What? Like I can probably, if I spend enough time, I could find on my Discord that somebody said that she worked for Microsoft. All right, so the issue was that she was promoting a game for Xbox. Like, what the fuck is like?
Similarly,
what like? Both the reasonings are stupid.
I also have friends who work at Bethesda, and I have friends who work at Xbox, and I have friends who work at Nintendo. When you work in the industry for a long time, I'm over 10 years now, you end up making friends who work a lot of places. And I think one thing that people don't realize is that the console wars don't really exist inside the industry. In fact, there are people on my direct team at Santa Monica Studio who came from Xbox, who just worked at an Xbox studio. Santa Monica Studio will have people leave who will then go to work at Microsoft-owned studios. Like, I get that these like console fanboys think that there's like this constant war, but the truth is the games industry has people sharing around all the time between many of these companies because there are only so many.
You know what I don't get about the console wars? Like, I just got my first like PlayStation 5 like my first PlayStation or a console ever, because back in the day I had like a Terminator, which probably wasn't a thing outside Serbia. And my girlfriend wanted to buy me like something good and something fun for my birthday last month. So she bought me a PlayStation 5. And I don't really care which games are exclusive for PS5, which games are exclusive for Xbox, all of that, because most of them you can play on PC. And I'm pretty sure that like most people that are console owners also have fucking PCs. You can play Starfield on PC. So I don't know. She reminds you of Sarah Morgan from Starfield. She has too much life in her eyes and like facial expressions and all of that. So I wouldn't say that she reminds me of Sarah Morgan.
Jobs available in game development. And if there's anything consistent for all of the people that I know who work at PlayStation or who work at Nintendo or who work at Xbox, it's that they don't care. The reality of working in game development, or at least my reality, this is my experience. Of course, other people may have had different experiences. I'd be very surprised if any of it differs very much. I'm not talking about people who work in PR and marketing whose like job it is to sell the brand. That's
Why is she using an Elgato mic? And why is she like not using like a Sony branded mic? Like, come on.
not my job.
We gotta cancel her now.
All I actually care about is doing my job and doing it well. Of course I want people to like the stuff I'm working on, and of course I want it to be successful. But I pretty similarly want every other game in the industry to be the same way. Working in the games industry is amazing and exciting, and I've been in it for as long as I have because I love video games. But it's exciting because realistically, the technology is actually in its infancy. Like, we're still figuring out what we're doing. People are making huge leaps every year. The way video games look now is going to look so different in 50 years' time because the industry still has so much room to progress.
Dude, frankly, like in 50 years from now, it's going to be like Ready Player One. And I'm not even fucking kidding. With like VR and all of that, like it's going to be crazy. Like in 50 years from now, gaming is going to be more real than fucking real life, honestly.
Games is like almost limitless because as the hardware progresses, video games can progress. Like, we can't even fathom the kind of games that we'll be playing in 20 years. Everything is about technical limitation, and there is not necessarily a cap on hardware progression. Thus, there is not necessarily really a cap on game dev progression. So when a big game comes out and people are excited about it, the whole industry is excited about it. I am excited for my friends who work at Xbox. Like I said, virtually every dev, when something like this happens, is just excited about it. Like a big blockbuster game that's taken 10 years to make and has a huge budget, like everyone else is like, oh my god, I can't wait to play it, let's play it. Corey, they tagged him, but somebody else shared a tweet where Corey is talking about how excited he was to play Starfield. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? It's so absurd. People in the games industry like and care about video games as a whole. I am not concerned about sales or pieces of hardware or content. I am concerned about doing my job well and making a good video game and enjoying what everyone else makes too. I have always loved Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo. I used to work at Xbox. I have 2 Nintendo tattoos. I currently work at PlayStation. It would not surprise me if I continue to work for all 3 of these companies as I continue in the games industry because I love all of them. I love the stuff they make. I love that they're making different things. Like, I'm just so happy to be here. And it is not my job or the job of anyone like me to worry about like Starfield being successful or not. Like, I just want other video games to be successful, especially when they're single player and don't have microtransactions. Like, that is the kind of game.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Like, okay, so I'm learning as I go because I don't know who this person is. I didn't know up until now. You guys corrected me. But if she's a game dev and obviously a streamer, like supporting the lack of microtransactions in single player or multiplayer games, it doesn't really matter, is a huge plus for me. And I love this person immediately.
Games that I want to make forever. So I always want every other game in the games industry that follows that same pattern to be as successful as possible. I want it to be a commercial success. And so like all these console fanboys who care about this, like again, I know most of you don't and most of you are rational people. People who actually work in the game development, everybody's just excited about video games, man. Like, they don't care who made them. They're just happy that all their friends who work in dev made something cool. And like, of course, you have multiple people who jump between companies. So you will end up working with someone who worked at Bethesda or end up working with somebody who worked at Santa Monica Studio. Like, it's just the way the industry works. The stuff that you think matters does not matter. It maybe matters to a marketing department or a PR department. I don't know. But I can also tell you a little bit of my experience with the marketing PR departments. So when I worked at Xbox, PlayStation still gave me a PlayStation 4 and they gave me early access to games. There was no hesitation there whatsoever. They still gave me access to PlayStation stuff. Now I work at PlayStation, and Xbox kind of hesitated a little to begin with, and now give me access to codes for Xbox games. But they did used to give me like all the cool stuff, like the controllers and stuff. I don't get that stuff from them anymore. Like I clearly like was moved around a mailing list a little bit. PlayStation didn't care. Nintendo also didn't care. They gave me everything when I worked at Xbox, didn't care.
You know what? Like, I don't know who, probably Bethesda marketing, gave Starfield's review codes to a bunch of channels. Like, their marketing department for Starfield worked overtime. Like, they were working their asses off before the launch of the game. Which is unfortunate because, like, if you hype the game up that much, it's obvious that a bunch of people, especially if the game is not like fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, as I've said, if it's not on that level, a bunch of people are going to be, at first skeptical, and then a bunch of people are going to be heartbroken and pissed off, and they're going to refund and all of that. And you're going to have a bunch of angry videos and all of that, and we're going to watch a couple of them. But it's funny to me that I noticed that even small channels of like 2,000, 4,000 subscribers got the review copy of Starfield. I haven't, and I know a couple of YouTubers that are bigger than I am that also haven't. And it's just weird to me because most of those YouTubers are like, I'm not gonna say focusing on the negative, but always have like they're always trying to be objective, and they never release like a review of a game, just like I don't. I mean, this is like one of my first reviews, maybe my fourth or fifth, it doesn't matter. But I would never say, oh, this is crazy good just because of I got a review copy. And they wouldn't either. So they also didn't get a review copy, which is just crazy. Like even people of like 300,000 subscribers. I don't know. It's a bit yucky, but sure.
At all. And nobody at PlayStation or Sony at any point ever has ever told me not to talk about games on other platforms. In reality, the thing that I do have restrictions on is promoting PlayStation. I no longer get early access to PlayStation games. I can't do an early impressions of a PlayStation game. I can't do like my first hour gameplay of a PlayStation game. I have to buy all my PlayStation games, and I buy them on release. There was an ad agency in Australia that wanted to pay me to make part of an ad for Ratchet & Clank because they knew I was super excited about Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
I have no idea what's happening with her sound.
I guess somebody at Sony said
it's
no,
on her end.
it's like a totally respectable ethical stance of like, you can talk about Xbox and Nintendo all you want. They have never said anything that would in any way disparage me from doing so or discourage me doing so. I just can't get early access to anything PlayStation related. And I don't get the like fun mailer kits that a lot of my friends who work in media get. Like they get like the newest PlayStation controllers that they share on social media. I don't get any of that kind of stuff. It's like the opposite of what you think it is. As for if I'm biased towards PlayStation or Xbox, the truth is people have been saying this about me in either direction, in both directions, so passionately for as long as I have been speaking about video games. People have called me a PlayStation shill for the last 10 years, and people have called me an Xbox shill for the last 10 years. It depends which side you're on. I have PlayStation fans get very mad at me because I didn't talk about PlayStation enough. And I have Xbox fans get mad at me because apparently I don't like certain games.
What's up with people's
the Starfield
brains?
One's been extra fun because it depends which side of the camp you're on. I really like this game, but I have some criticisms.
Did like the zombie apocalypse already happen, and the zombies have eaten like all the brains from people? Like I don't understand this at all.
Right? That's how I feel about it as a person who just is here and enjoys video games. But because my stance is not like all one or the other, because I'm a human being, the Xbox fans are like, fuck you, Sony shill. And then the PlayStation fans are like, fuck you.
Goodspeed, you are wrong. She's a developer.
you're obsessed with this game. You
And
love
also, like, no, open up Twitch and you can see like how many pretty girls are playing games and have like no concurrency with what, like, with like viewers and all that.
it. Like, they don't realize that they're both saying the literal opposite thing. And I don't care if people think I'm biased. Again, it's been happening forever. Think whatever you want. But the actual reality of where I land in the video game landscape, as much as I'm sure it's annoying.
But
for
you can also say it for whatever. Like, you can say, dude, if you wanna be successful in music, you just have to be like a pretty girl. You gotta be pretty, like, whatever you do. Like, that's the time we live in right now. And like, sure, okay.
people who are console fanboys is honestly.
But I don't know.
just
You
that I
guys are
love
currently
video
watching
games.
an
I
ugly
love
motherfucker.
Xbox.
So
I love PlayStation. I love Nintendo. I just really
Sure.
love video games. That is how I feel. And I want them all to be good. And I'm so happy when any of them are good. Especially, again, if they're single-player microtransaction-free experiences. That is my stance. If you're going to criticize me for anything, it would be that sometimes I get too excited. Like, I can get a bit carried away with how excited I am about certain things. And obviously, I share that. And if I have influence on you, you could end up being also very excited. But I can't, like, turn that off. Like, I'm just happy to be here, man. And of course, saying this is not going to change the minds of any of these people. Like, I know that. But I did want to be clear about the fact that, like, wow, why
What's
is she
up,
allowed to talk about
Konstantinos?
Starfield so much? Like, even sane people have been saying that. Like, people who are not all over the console war brigade. It's not a thing. There's nobody at Sony is ever going to tell me that I shouldn't talk about Starfield. People have wondered if there were restrictions, and like, no, of course not. There are no restrictions on me liking video games. All you will ever see from the dev community is people supporting other people's games. It's so weird that you like forget that when there's a big release. Like, it's all over Twitter. People at PlayStation and people at Nintendo are loving Starfield. That's just the way it is. You get excited about the industry and you're just like happy to be a part of it. So in conclusion, I don't care about this stuff and you don't need to share it with me. I'd prefer if you didn't most of the time. It's not worth it. Second point is the console war stuff that y'all think matters so much doesn't actually matter to anyone on my
Nope.
level. We all just love video games and are excited about video games and new video games being good and having a good time at video games. Third, no, there are no restrictions, and no one has ever said anything to me at all about how much I like an Xbox game or how much I like a Nintendo game. Now we can just pretend this never happened. It's done. I'm not
Honestly,
gonna
I
get
don't
fired
think
because I liked Xbox or Nintendo. I'm so sorry.
it's a bad thing that she addressed this, and that here's the video that she talked about this, because for one, I wouldn't know that this happened, and I wouldn't know that like the console wars went like all that way to fucking try and cancel Twitch streamers that are working for PlayStation or Sony. Like, come on. We need a donation goal for the hot tub first, or a VR setup. Dude, if I made a donation goal, you know that. You know what happened like last year before, like just before Christmas? Well, your Christmas, like Catholic Christmas. Like one stream, I think people sent me like $1,500 for a single stream. So I would have to fucking buy a hot tub, like, and have it prepared if you guys really want me to do that, and I don't want to do that, so no. Console wars are stupid. Yeah, they are. It's just like, it's fucking cringe. But like, people have been fighting over things that are like less than fucking consoles that they own. They've been like fighting over caps. Like, what kind of a cap or whatever are you wearing? Oh, you have a white cap? Let's shoot him. If you know what I mean. And that's been happening for fucking thousands of years now. So, yeah. Anyway,